In 2010, outreach officers continue to engage with affected communities in Uganda, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, Kenya, as well as in Eastern Chad and other places with large groups of Sudanese refugees. In all these countries, around 47,000 people, including 12,000 women, participated in 422 interactive sessions. An estimated audience of 70 million people was reached through radio and television programs broadcast on local stations. In situation-related countries, various groups were engaged through 4 core programs, namely community outreach, legal outreach, academic outreach, and media outreach. This year, the priority was to make justice meaningful among women, children and youths, legal practitioners and journalists.
تأسس برنامج التوعية الخاص بالجماعات في العام 2007 مستهدفاً النساء، الشبيبة، ممثلي المنظمات غير الحكومية، الزعماء الدينيين وممثلي الحكومات. يأخذ هذا البرنامج في الاعتبار الحاجات الخاصة بكل جمهور معين ومعني. وتهدف وحدة التوعية عبر العمل مع هذه الجماعات إلى منحهم شعوراً بأن هذه المحكمة هي محكمتهم تعمل من أجلهم وباسمهم. الأشخاص المشتبهين أو المتهمين ارتكبوا جرائم معينة.
University of California did a population-based survey in the Central African Republic in late 2009. We interviewed nearly 2,000 people throughout Central African republics. We found that about 31% of people that we surveyed heard of the ICC, and those who have access to the radio, half of them have heard about the ICC. So knowledge, we found out, was higher also in the capital compared to the rural area outside of the capital area, Bangui. We had recommended that outreach programs be expanded to include women, a focus on women, and those who have less access to the radio, and in addition to those who are, in the lower socioeconomic strata, going out more in the rural area outside of Bangui, because in Bangui, around 60% of the people have heard about the ICC and their knowledge level is pretty good.
Towards the end of 2009 and throughout 2010, based on recommendations from Berkeley University, the outreach team in Central African Republic conducted activities in all locations related to the case of Jean-Pierre Bemba Gombo outside the capital, Bangui. In cooperation with local authorities and representatives of civil society, outreach sessions were held with key stakeholders in affected communities, namely community leaders, local authorities, religious leaders, NGOs, women's groups, and the general public. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda, women's groups were the focus of the community outreach program.
Crimes de violence sexuelle qui peuvent constituer soit les crimes de guerre, soit les crimes contre l'humanité.
L'avantage que nous avons eu dans la communauté par rapport à la sensibilisation avec la CPI, c'est que nos activités que nous avons eu à mener avec les femmes ont permis aux femmes de s'exprimer librement. Surtout qu'on le faisait aussi qu'avec les femmes. Elles se sont senties vraiment libres pour s'exprimer et dire ce qu'elles savaient et ce qu'elles vivaient aussi facilement dans cette intimité-là entre les femmes.
The program is beneficial to our community because persons with disabilities can now pick the victim participation form. Women can also fill, and the youth, the leaders, they can also know what the court, they know also what the court does and what the court cannot do.
And the other interesting finding that we found in both studies is that among the people who've heard about the ICC, they have much more positive attitudes toward the court and its proceeding than those who have not heard about it. So that's been one of the consistent finding that we found in both in the CAR and in Uganda.
The academic outreach program promotes understanding of the ICC's mandate and its work among students, teachers and professors of primary and secondary schools, as well as universities. Through direct engagement with these groups, the Outreach Unit is promoting teaching of international criminal law and about the International Criminal Court as part of the curricula of faculties of law, political science, international affairs, and journalism.
What is a war crime in your own words? These two, we are looking for key words. What is a war crime?
A war crime are those crimes that are committed during the war. For instance, rape, abduction, looting, among others.
Give the full names of the president of the court and country of origin.
The president of the court that is ICC is General Yoon Sang-soo from the Republic of Korea.
From the point of view of the outreach program, we are not only doing outreach or disseminating information in district headquarter towns. We concentrate our outreach activities even in the villages. Even as we speak today, my team member is already in Lukodi village, engaging children from that part of Gulu to also participate in similar activities, to explain to them about the work of the ICC and listen to their concerns and views in relation to their rights.
Yes, in Uganda we did 3 waves of data collections. First time was in 2005, right before the prosecutor announced the arrest warrants. And then another time in 2007, when there was ongoing peace negotiation, and then the last one, 2010, when 90% of the populations have returned back home. In 2005, around 90 to 99% of the population were displaced. In 2005, in the Acholi regions, we found that 27% of the population have heard about the ICC. In 2007, we found 70% of the population heard about the ICC. And then in 2010, the number dropped to 59% of the respondents who have heard about the ICC. We believe that some of the drop has to do with the way that the population are dispersed. In 2005, the population lived in IDP camps, and then in 2010, almost nearly 90% of those population went back home and now are in isolated villages or remote villages throughout Uganda.
En ce qui concerne la République démocratique du Congo, 3 affaires sont actuellement devant la CPI. Dans l'affaire le procureur contre Thomas Lubanga, Dilo, le bureau du procureur a terminé la présentation de ces éléments de preuve.
Il y a un peu plus de sessions de formation pour renforcer les capacités judiciaires de notre système. Il y a moyen de regarder du côté de la documentation qui devrait être régulière et abondante au niveau des institutions comme au niveau de nos universités et instituts d'enseignement. Il y a aussi moyen d'imaginer un calendrier toujours plus fourni dans le sens de permettre que les Congolais s'approprient l'entreprise qu'on appelle Cour pénale internationale, que nous soyons en mesure, nous, juridiction congolaise, à juger sans toujours nous référer à la haie.
Le programme de sensibilisation des juristes a été établi pour améliorer la compréhension du mandat de la Cour et de son travail auprès des praticiens du droit dans les pays dans lesquels des enquêtes sont menées. Le programme contribue en outre à l'accroissement du nombre de conseils et d'assistants au conseil représentant les victimes, les suspects et les personnes accusées.
Et lorsque l'administration a changé,
my legal outreach program aims at creating awareness within the legal fraternity, and in this instance within the women lawyers community, the members of FIDA, about particular issues concerning international criminal justice. The program is beneficial because we have a joint mission with the ICC, which is ending impunity and promoting justice for all.
Bearing in mind that our outreach team cannot reach the entire population of a country in person, the media is an important tool to inform the public at large and to broaden the impact of our activities in the field. The Media Outreach Program, established in 2005, provides journalists with an opportunity to gain insight and more detailed information about the court's mandate and proceedings.
And it is protection of your government, yeah? Because we have our own system.
In all situation countries, the Outreach Unit conducted a wide range of activities with the media, namely training for journalists based in the provinces, live broadcasts of court proceedings, regular press briefings and interviews. In addition, the unit distributed press releases and radio and television programs produced in The Hague.
Comme vous le savez, vous en avez tous été informés, cette conférence de mise en état d'aujourd'hui vise à traiter d'une question spécifique.
Aujourd'hui, comme vous avez pu l'entendre, chaque partie a donné son avis concernant l'ouverture du procès. Et les juges vont maintenant se retirer de cette salle d'audience et prendre une décision sur le calendrier à venir.
Nous sommes bénéficiaires de l'information qu'il faut, mais aussi de quelques explications que tout le monde n'a pas toujours. Et ça nous profite à nous. Ça, c'est au niveau de l'entreprise médiatique, mais au niveau du public également, qui est le nôtre. Je crois qu'ils ont ici le bénéfice, grâce à cette coopération, de comprendre un peu ce qui se passe à la Cour, de suivre de très près ce qu'il en est. Et cela se vérifie notamment à travers des émissions interactives que nous produisons ici, où vous sentez que le public est présent, il suit, il appelle, il communique, il veut comprendre, il fait savoir ses critiques, ses observations, et ça, ce sont des choses que nous apprécions beaucoup.
Well, I think the outreach programs in general has done a tremendous jobs because of the numerous situations that they're covering. And so during their first phase in terms of outreach programs, I think they succeeded in the sense of getting people to know about the courts. I think they have a bigger challenge now when the proceeding starts, is to give people more nuanced knowledge about the court proceeding and explaining in more details. In terms of the ability for the court to make the impact, it needs to have outreach programs. If the people don't know of what the court is doing and understand what the court is doing, then there won't be any impact in the affected community.
Since the establishment of the ICC, outreach has been one of the integral functions of the court. This has ensured that the justice served through the ICC's proceedings is meaningful to the communities affected by cases brought before the court. In the past year, I had the opportunity to be part of this. I met with affected communities in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda, heard their concerns, and answered their questions. While the experience of meeting victims with severely mutilated bodies saddened me greatly, it also reinforced my commitment to the mandate of the International Criminal Court. Concerned populations have the right to be informed about the work of the court and their rights under the Rome Statute. There is no due process without publicity of the proceedings. With 5 situations currently under investigation and 3 cases on trial, there is much work to be done in the future. With the support and cooperation of states parties, intergovernmental organizations, and civil society, I trust that we will continue bringing the ICC closer to concerned populations and making justice meaningful to those who need it most.